Hello everybody, welcome to Totally Tabled. My name is Shaggy, and today I'm doing a full solo playthrough of Ark Nova. This is a game about building a zoo, which is such a great theme. And let me tell you something, you're going to want to stick around to check out these solo rules because the solo mode gets out of the way and just lets you play the game, and you know that's what I love. It actually plays really quick, and it's not nearly as complicated as I thought it was going to be. Let's just dive right in. I'm going to teach it as we go, as always. So setup is pretty simple. You want to shuffle up that massive deck of cards. This is probably the thing that this game is most famous for. That's what a stack of 200 plus cards look like. You want to shuffle that up. You're then going to deal yourself 8. And from these 8, you're going to pick 4 of them to keep. So we'll do that in a second. You want to shuffle up these green-backed cards. You want to grab 3 randomly and put them out here. These will be some goals for us during the game. You also want to deal out 2 of these end-game cards and just put them off to the side. These will be some ways to score points at the end of the game. You want to grab a set of 5 action cards here. Put them on the blue side and then place the one that says animals in the 1 slot. Then shuffle the other ones and randomly put them in the other slots. Like so. We start with 25 money. We also start with 20 appeal, 0 conservation, and 1 on the reputation track. Then you want to get the solo board, get 7 cubes from another unused color, and just put them out there on those spots. And there you go, that's pretty much it. Now I'm playing on the most basic map. I'm not using one of the special maps. This is the map that they suggest for your beginning game. So we start with a 3-space enclosure and a kiosk. And there we go, we're now ready to begin. We need to pick 4 out of these 8 cards to keep to start the game with. And we want to keep in mind our starting conservation projects. We have 1 for birds, 1 for Australian animals, and 1 for American animals. We're going to want to keep that in mind as we're looking through our cards. Well, I like this kangaroo, red kangaroo from Australia. That might be a nice one. Let's put that in the maybe pile. All right, this guy, be fairly easy to house him. Ooh, a Nile crocodile, very difficult. The requirements over here, before you can play this crocodile, you'd need to have 3 of these reptile icons out in your zoo somewhere. That's going to be very difficult to do. Ooh, and this northern giraffe, kind of like him. We might hold on to him for a second. Well, look at this penguin pool. We would need 3 reputation before you could play it. The requirements to play the card are all here on the left side. So you can see here, this requires a 3 reputation. If we were going to go a bird strategy, which we might want to because of that conservation project, this card could come in handy. We don't have any birds in our hand right now, but that's okay. So these blue cards are sponsor cards, and they can give you some in-game points, potentially, and some special abilities. Ooh, supporting a conservation project requires only 4. Okay. Yeah, I like this guy. We're going to hold on to him. Okay, so those are the 4 we're going to keep. The other 4 go into the discard pile. Now, after we've selected our 4 starting cards, we then can fill up the display. In Ark Nova, we're going to be building these enclosures on our map here and then playing animal cards into those enclosures in order to score points. The goal of the game is to have our appeal, which is tracked here with these little ticket-shaped things, meet with our conservation points, which are there on the green spaces. If we can get our appeal around the board to meet up with our conservation, before the end of the game, we win. It's that simple. And the way we take actions in this game are with these cards. We select one of these 5 action cards, and we can select any one that we want, but the location of that action card is going to represent the power of that action. So the further up in this line, the more powerful the card is. I think the first thing I want to do right off the bat is my association action is here in the 5 spot. We get to perform an association task, which is on this board right here. And it says here we can do it with a maximum value of X, where X is, in this case, 5, because it's in the 5th position. Now you can see here the cost of doing any one of these actions. Ignore this 0 here. In order to do this part, we would have to upgrade this card to this side. We'll worry about that later. But here, we could just get 2 reputation. Here we can get a partner zoo, which will reduce the cost of animals from that particular region. So we might want to get, partner with an Australian zoo to make our Australian animals cheaper. Here we can get some universities that will give us some research or move us up on our reputation track. This top university actually will let our hand limit be 5 instead of 3, so that could be really good. And then this top spot here is how we put cubes onto these conservation projects. But we're not ready to do that quite yet. So I think what we want to do is get a partner zoo. And I am going to go ahead and do Australia. Right? We would only need to be at the 3 spot, but 3 or higher. So we can do this action. In order to do that, you have to use one of your workers. And at the start of the game, we only have this one that's active. We have to unlock these other 3. So this guy can come over here and he can make that happen. And now, as you can see, any animals that we play from Australia will cost 3 less money. Now, after you use an action, this card goes all the way down to the 1 spot and everything else slides over. At the end of your turn, you slide the top solo cube over, and that's it. Once we slide all the cubes over, something will happen, but I'll explain that when we get to it. Here we go. We get to go again. Now, I do have some sponsor cards in my hand. These are these blue cards here. And I do like this veterinarian. I'm not sure I'm ready to play him quite yet. For my next action, I think I want to use this cards action. In the solo game, you ignore anything with a break ability. Breaks happen differently in the solo game. So you just ignore the break and you just get the rest of the reward. So for this card, we get to draw cards based on where it is in the line. We're in space 4, so you can see here it says draw 2 cards, and we don't have to discard any of them. So we just get to draw 2 cards randomly off the top of the deck. And we just add it to our hand, and wow, look at this. We got a bird, so that's kind of cool. And there we go, that's it. Slide down, put it at the beginning, and push a cube over. And we're just going to keep doing this. Okay, I think I want to build. I really think I want to build. Wouldn't mind getting this shoebill housed somewhere. But I think right now we're going to focus on this giraffe. Yeah, I think we might try to focus on getting that giraffe going. We actually have the structure already, so I think we're going to actually skip building for the moment, and we're just going to jump right here to this animals. This lets us play animals from our hand into enclosures that we have. We started with that 3 enclosure, which is exactly what this giraffe needs. And when the animals card is in the 3rd position, we can play 1 animal. So here we go. We're going to play this giraffe. The cost is 16 money. And you can see here on this left side, there are no prerequisites. A lot of cards have certain prerequisites. Like this shoebill here, need to have 2 research icons, right? We have 0 research icons right now. If we partnered with a university, one of these universities, we could get that. But right now, we can't play this animal because we don't have the research. But this giraffe, no prerequisites, except for it needs a 3-space enclosure, which we have. So we just flip that over to show that it's now occupied. We pay our money. And we gain appeal, which is shown right there. So we gain 7 appeal. We now get to do this action right here. Now this says boost sponsors after finishing the current action. So this only happens, some of these will happen right away. When it says after finishing the current action, that means that you completely finish what you're doing and then this will be the last thing that you do. So that means that we slide this down and now we get to do this. And it says you may place your sponsor's action on the 1 space or the 5 space. And since I'm not interested in playing this right now, I'm actually going to put this into the 1 space and slide everything over. And there we go. We're done with that action. We keep the card here because now it provides us with some icons. You know, we now have an Africa icon and an herbivore icon. And those can come in handy with certain cards. We have $9. Let's build. Now we get to build 1 building, and its maximum size is 5 because it's in the 5 slot. But you have to pay 2 money per space. So since we only have 9 money, we're not going to be able to build a 5 space enclosure, for instance. We're going to be maxed out at 4 for the moment. And I would like to build a 4 space enclosure because that's what our red kangaroo is going to need. So let's go ahead and get a 4 space enclosure. Like that. It's going to cost $8. And now we can place it out on our board, but it has to be touching something that's been previously built. So we could put it like that, or we could even put it over here like this. I think I'll be boring and I'll just put it just like that. And we're going to be covering up that little 5 money spot, which means we'll just get 5 income. For the moment, we can't use this association action because we would need another person to be able to go out there. So we're going to have to wait until either we get another person or this person comes back, which will happen once we have a break, which you'll see in a second. So for now, let's move on. Let's just do this cards. Again, we're in the 4 position, so we'll just get to draw 2 off the top. Ooh, and we're excited about this one because that's another Australia card, which is what we need for this conservation project. So I think we definitely want to get this lizard out there. Nice. Okay, once both of those cubes are pushed over, that'll signal the end of the round, which we won't mind seeing because we're a little limited in what we can do at the moment. We don't have a lot of money, certainly not enough to play an animal, I don't think. We only have $6. Now, if we take a look at our in-game goals here, we're only going to score 1 of these. We're going to get to choose at some point. So we either want to get our reputation track really high, or we want to house a bunch of large animals. Fortunately, this giraffe does not count as a large animal. All large animals are only size 4 and more. Okay. Tell you what we're going to do. We're going to use the sponsors. Now, normally we would use this to play one of those blue cards from our hand. But you can also use it for something else, which is to just gain money equal to where you are on the track. And so I think I'm going to do that. We're just going to gain $3. And then for our last action of the round, we're going to build. And let's go ahead and build a 2 space enclosure for this lizard. Even though we're at the 3 spot, I think we'll build just a 2 space, so that'll only cost us $4. So we'll have 5 left over going into the next round. And where do we want to put this? Now you can see here on this lizard, it shows here 2, and then beside it, it shows a little rock icon. That means that this enclosure needs to be touching a rock in order for this lizard to be able to go there. So we could put it like this, and that would be touching that rock right there. That seems like a good idea. So we're going to do that. Well, we could also just have it go like that. Yeah, actually, I kind of like that better. I think we're just going to have it go up like that. It's touching that rock there. And we're going to get one of these X tokens. These allow us to increase the value of one of these cards. So we could play it like if we play when we do this animals, it would be as if it was a 5, even though it's in the 4 position. We can hold up to 5 of those. And there, we've slid the last cube on the bottom, exposing that little break symbol. So that means we're going to have a break, which just signals the end of the round. So when we have a break, the first thing we do is we take the top cube and we place it on the top spot in this area right here, blocking it. This is an area where later in the game we would be able to spend money to get conservation points. The AI is kind of blocking that, making things more expensive for us. We then slide all the cubes back over to the left. We now have to discard down to our hand size. And our hand size is only 3 cards, unless we get that university there that lets it be 5. So right now we have a hand size of 3. So we're going to have to get rid of most of these cards. I think I'm going to get rid of this bird, actually. We want to keep our kangaroo and our lizard. I don't think we're going to do the penguin pool. I think the only thing I really want to keep is maybe this vet. Yeah, let's keep the vet too. So we're going to keep those 3 cards. The rest go into the discard pile. We then would get rid of certain tokens if they were out on our cards, but we don't have any of those, so we can skip that. We now get our worker back from the board. And these top 2 cards get discarded, and then everything slides up. And now we get our income. So you look at your appeal level, and then you look here to see what area you're in. So right now we're at 27 appeal, and that's in the $19 range. So we get $19. Plus, we get 1 coin for our kiosk for every enclosure that is filled. So right now we just have 1 filled enclosure next to our kiosk, so that's 1 extra buck, so that's 20. So we're going into the next round with $25. Any of the special buildings would also trigger that $1 for the kiosk. And now we're all ready to begin the next round.